Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, I want to talk about people who may have claimed they have been abducted by aliens. Now, I may not be saying that right, but who gives a fuck? But, you know, this is for that video, and I want to let you know that you're not wrong. Now, this highly depends on a person's imagination level, because a person who have a high superstitious or low superstitious, or you want to say a high imagination or a low imagination level, right? Your imagination is what enables you to, what enables you to create. So a person who got a broad imagination is able to create a lot of things. So, you know, a higher person's imagination is going to determine what they create out of the energy that they receive. But we know lights and things of that nature and sound and light and perception and reflections and concepts, these are all forms, these are all bodies. So spirits can use all forms of bodies. So when a person say they seen a UFO or they seen something like that, right, they're seeing a form, a concept, a light reflection, a light, or something in a physical form or whatever. That's the heavier in the density it is, but they seeing the form of energy. Now the form of energy is bodies. Energy can't be destroyed, it can only be reciprocated or reduplicated. So when this body dies off, it transforms, right? And it transforms back to the gases and things of that nature. But we're purely talking about the energy realm, and when energy, and the energy is the creation. But your spirit created the creation, because your spirit is the creator, and it created the creation in order to inhabit that body as a vessel to experience the realm reality that you have created. So now when we talk about as far as in the energy realm, right, now your spirit can be unconscious, because your spirit is kind of like unconscious. Your spirit really is just trying to experience. It's not, when you got a soul to take a body, it's not until you become an individual spirit. You start to individually understand your and have your own perception about the astral travel, and you're not just unconsciously going with the wave. That's just like following somebody. They could be telling you like, man, look, we finna go rob a bank and kill 10 people. And you're not even taking in, having an individual feeling and expression about that. You're just going along with it like you don't know what that is. So you're just going along with it. Okay, let's go. See what I'm saying? So you gotta think in the frequency vibration realm, this is before we even get to the energy realm. And your physical bodies and the lights that you take is the sound, light, concepts, you know what I'm saying, forms of information. So when we talk about things like UFOs and spaceships, that's what I mean by that. And that's what everybody should mean by that. So forms of sound, light, information, you know what I'm saying? This is what a UFO is. So your body is a condensed version of a spaceship, condensed version of light, condensed version of a UFO. You see what I'm saying? And we're talking about the energy realm. So now when we talk about being abducted is, you could be, anytime you are influenced by outside things, these are things that's alien to you. So for the most part, we get the word alien conflated, because you could become alienated from your friends, family, or your social group or whatever like that, right? And you could become an alien to them. For the most part, that's like you putting in your 2 cents on something, or you making yourself a part of something that has nothing to do with you. You are an alien to that circumstance and situation. And now you can attach yourself and become a virus. Now the virus could play in 2 ways. It could either add on and add on to an organ or something like that, or it can destroy the whole body. Now destroying the whole body, that's when, you know, it's being a liability. When it's making itself part of the organ and working with with your inners, your transverse, then that means it becomes a asset. So it could be an asset or liability. But, you know, when we talk about spirits and things of that nature, spirits have to we create this as spirits. Now, this is how we create sound and light, right? Say we're in the spirit realm. So we're just bouncing, like we're on an astral travel. So this is like kind of unconscious for us. We're going on a wave. But we become an individual spirit. That's a soul. We end up feeling a vibration and have our own experience, our own time, our shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable smokeless flame. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, now we have our own individual outlook on this experience that we're traveling in the astral realm as a group. So that allows us to have a soul and vibrating. Now in this astral realm we're traveling, there's spaces and frequency vibrations that been there that preceded us. Or because we know we wasn't here before others the same way, so we know that there was beings here before us. So we have to take that in the spirit when our spirit was born, even though our spirit was born way before this physical vessel. This is why you have past lives and things of that nature. So you're taking many different shapes and forms, many different concepts and ideas, many different thoughts and realms of realities. These are all energies. These are all bodies. Your spirit is not becoming this, though. Your spirit is embodying these in order to receive information from that world to make its own self bigger, so it could take a bigger body and inhabit more, take a bigger concept, take a bigger idea, a bigger thought form. You see what I'm saying? A bigger dense body, a lighter body. Light. The lighter you are, the more light body you can take, to the point you could become a body of pure light. You know what I'm saying? Now your spirit can inhabit that body of pure light, but the spirit ain't that body. It's just the spirit has to learn and go through a lot of different other bodies to learn how to become that light, to shed enough experiences to the point that that shapeless, formless, odorless, conscious gas that you are, your spirit can inhabit a body of pure light or a body of pure sound. You see what I'm saying? This shit deep. But let's get to it. Now, when we want to talk about motherfucking being abducted by aliens and things of that nature, now, you know, it has to be a form of a UFO, has to be a form of a spaceship, has to be a form of information, light, or sound, or a concept. So that's the body that these spirits is riding in. Now, whatever created or wherever frequency vibration that energy came from, and that energy is going to consist that frequency vibration. This is how you know how to separate, because you're going to always feel the energy, but you always got to decipher the frequency vibration. You always got to decipher. So that's how you know it's separate, the spirit and the soul. The individual frequency is the frequency vibrating. So in the energy, that's just the realm what this physical body can perceive with the 5 senses. You know what I'm saying? Don't correlate what's high dense and low dense to the spirit. So when you receive this frequency vibration, right, you receive it in an energy form. You receive it in a package. So when you receive it as the package, as the energy, right? You're receiving it as a light, sound, concept. This is all bodies. This ain't the spirit don't become that. You see what I'm saying? So when you receive this, right, the frequency vibration that you get with the energy is going to help you, whether you resonate with it or don't you resonate with it. And that's when we start talking about the frequency vibration, the spirit soul realm, the astral realm right there. See, that don't got nothing to do with the energy. You in the physical realm. You just received the energy physically. I don't care how high dense or less dense it was, whether it was just an idea or sound, or was it just a physical realm, or was it condensed light to the point it was solid. And you motherfucking receive the energy. Doesn't matter. You always got to decipher the frequency vibration. So when you pick up an energy, right, now you got to decipher the frequency vibration. You got to decipher the idea of this. The idea. Now, see, this is another realm when we talk about idea and concept. A different mind. The brain is just correlating with the mind, but you can't see the mind. You can only see the brain. But a person would be like, it's the same thing because they lost in the physical. You can't be lost in the physical. Now, in the energy realm, that's the energy. See, what I be talking about is frequency vibration. That's before the energy. Now we're getting here. So, as forms of ideas and concepts and things of that nature, now this is your spirit seeing if you understand that spirit you're receiving. Then you start to feel the vibration of it. So now you start to see how that energy make you feel. Now, this is your spirit or soul, your individual spirit, communicating with the spirits that came with that energy, that rode that energy as a body. Spirit's always going to take a body, but this kind of spirit is light. So this spirit know how to take forms of light bodies. It hasn't experienced a lot. So it know other forms of informations that's not in this realm of reality that we could get stuck in with patterns. But spirits want to do that. That's what you have to understand. This is their way. This is their first form of bodies that they could take to experience. And once those experiences keep getting experienced, then it's in the energy realm. That body could become solid and physical. It could take shape and form as a circumstance or situation in your life. Then it could play out as something physical, or you could make a body and make that spirit come in as a fucking through a fucking human life. You see what I'm saying? Or spirits that come in through animal lives. This is all how spirits just come into to forms. But the spirit don't become the form. It go into form. Key word, in. We gotta pay attention to the words we're using. Now, so when you get that energy, that spaceship, that UFO, that form of light, that sound, that information, boom, you start to talk to the beings that's in it, that's outside of this realm. You see what I'm saying? Now we get into your soul, your spirit, the astral realm. So this is how you gonna resonate with it or you don't. Now, a person who have been abducted by aliens, you can look at it like this: a person who done got indoctrinated, and whatever they done got indoctrinated into, that indoctrination dictate this person's actions. So this is when you see a person who's indoctrinated with religion, a person who's indoctrinated in certain sciences, right? Every form of new information that they bounce friction off and create light and new sounds and bodies with, right? They always have to go back to what they got indoctrinated with. They always have to go back to that spaceship, back to that UFO. You see what I'm saying? And this is how a person become alienated in their family, because see, a lot of times their thoughts and ideas don't conform. So whatever vibrations or whatever this person that went out into the world and experienced, right? Whatever spaceship that they seen and whatever spirits that was in it that changed this person's spirit, aka changed this person's ideas and thoughts and the bodies that this person being spirit embodies. Whatever other spirits change these ideas and things of that nature. And whatever UFO they rode, aka whatever concept they start to agree with and roll with, right? If it disagree with your family or friends, then you become alienated. You see what I'm saying? You will become alienated. People don't want you around, or you will alienate yourself because you don't feel comfortable with that group or pack no more. So, like I was saying, now this deals with the imagination level. People who got high imaginations, their indoctrinations go way deeper within their soul and spirit to the point that they get took over. Now, the things that they create and the beings and stuff that come from this, and also the spirits that hit that UFO to give them all this information and things of that nature, they got full control. So wherever that UFO and spaceship, wherever it came from, and whatever kind of life that they live, you're living that in your realm of reality, and it's going to seem completely foreign. So like I said, the higher a person's imagination is, the further a person can astral travel. So the more a person can receive energies from different realms, different astral places, different locations, different lights, different influences, different star systems, constellations, different bodies. You know what I'm saying? So the broader a person's imagination is, the more that they can receive different information from different beings and different spirits and shit like that. So if a person is not well with astral traveling, which, see, people get, y'all can go to my astral travel video and know how to understand that. But a person who not well and don't know how to build auras and protections and things of that nature can get indoctrinated. So they can end up finding some information and get influenced by some shit that's way out of this realm of reality, right? But in that realm of reality, that might be some bullshit compared to all them beings and shit and all them spirits and bodies. So, keyword, spirits and bodies. So for the most part, when you bring that shit here, right, you getting controlled here by some of that shit, and that shit could lead you to death here, could lead you to being alienated for all the wrong reasons here, could lead you to experience a bunch of dumbass circumstances and situations here. And then you will be so indoctrinated and thinking there's so much truth, because whatever that is not correlated to this reality. But since your imagination's so broad, you know how to kind of experience that world and know how to make it make sense from how it is in that world. So when it comes here and don't make sense, people may feel you because all the conviction that you putting into it, because you really are there. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, it's real. When a person say they got abducted by aliens, the way that they may be explaining it may be wrong, but the shit is real. Everything is real, or it wouldn't exist. You wouldn't have a thought or a concept or an idea of something if it didn't actually exist in some realm of reality, in some perception, somewhere. So it might not be formulated in this realm of reality, and those beings and spirits might not know how to ride Pacific lights enough for those bodies to become condensed enough in this realm of reality, but a lot of spirits do. You know what I'm saying? Because when you bounce off and create lights and shit like that, you create fluids within your body, and spinal fluids and shit like that could create a spinal cord, and with those lights, those are forms of lights, and those lights, spirits, those concepts, ideas, right, those are bodies and forms, and now the concepts and forms got condensed into a fluid and made you feel pleasure or something like that. Now a spirit can inhabit a body within you and come into this world. You know what I'm saying? And then now you have a living spirit in a body in this world. You see what I'm saying? But you, as a spirit, you have your choice. You don't have to come here. You can stay in the headspace. You can go in so many different realms of realities. It ain't funny. But you know, spirits like getting bodies, because what's the whole point? What's the whole point of being unconscious all the time? So you want to become an individual. You just don't get lost in all the lights and all the illusions, aka all the bodies, all the concepts, all the sounds. Don't get lost in all those, because once those come to condense, it could trap your darkness in it. It could trap your spirit in that body. And those, when you get like planets like Saturn and shit like that, or people like you and things of that nature, to the point that your darkness is forever trapped in lightness. So this is why when you turn the light on, right, you don't see the darkness, but the darkness is always there. Your spirit is always there. But the more dense you is in the physical world, you can condense it. You can even condense your soul to a frequency, vibration, energy. You got so much weight on your soul is heavy. This makes a heavy worrier, a person who worry about everything and things of that nature, to the point that you physically cry all the time and be stressed out, to the point that that's you condensing your soul. But you still can't see that. That doesn't condense into your physical frequency, vibration, energy, as far as the energy realm. I was just talking about your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable. That you could have a big ass frequency spirit, to the point that your individual spirit soul is so heavy though. You got so much soul, so much passion and emotion added on it, that you still big, but the type of vessels the type of bodies you take is bodies like Saturn. You see what I'm saying? So it don't reflect light and shit like that. It's really not that light. It really is heavy and shit like that. Or you could take bodies like rocks. It's like a rock. Shit like that. To the point that you become unconscious, because you separate yourself truly from all the other spirits. And you become so much of an individual, so much in your own pleasures, so much in your own emotions and feelings, that the vessel you take is a vessel that only wants separateness. It don't want to be around nobody else. It only want to be around its own glory and be in its own self, because it had learned so much that it only want to be to itself and have its own authority and have rulership, and don't want to be bothered with. You see what I'm saying? From its high horse. So that'd be the type of vessel you end up taking when you put so much emotional weight, because you will start coming to conclusions that you're so much in emotional chaos because you was attaching yourself to so many people, places, and things. So you get into the ultimate detachment. But what happens here is, once your soul is so heavy already, then you become careless and doing things that other people care about, but you don't care about it. You see what I'm saying? So you are affecting others. So because a person who just straight in the spirit would do things that other people care about in a good way, you affect people what they care about in a way that's showing them that you don't care about it, but you only attack the things that other people care about. So so it's like you put yourself and added so much emotional weight. Yeah, your shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas is still gonna get big, but the kind of vessel you're gonna take to go in is a fucking negative one, or what we would perceive as negative. You know what I'm saying? Because you will separate yourself, and that's separating yourself from the collective. So you're separating yourself from the spirit, but you are a spirit. You're just too much of an individual spirit, to the point that you can't deal with anybody else, can't deal with no other spirits, can't deal with no other individual souls, can't deal with no other individual spirit souls, because you done got so heavy that you had to separate yourself. This is where you get the concept of big bubbles and water waves and stuff like that in the physical realm. But you know, being abducted by aliens, you know, everybody get abducted every day. So be careful that you're not just running with each concept that a person creates. You're not just running, because if you didn't create this idea concept, or you didn't create that certain friction and create another light that you can ride to sustain within that wave, because sometimes waves is bigger than you. For an example, it may be a concept in the world that's bigger than you, that You ain't got no choice but to cause friction out of it, aka the God and Jesus concept. You know what I'm saying? So this concept is bigger than you. So your friction to bounce off of it, and how you can ride through this astral travel without being dissipated or scattering off in your imagination and not even being perceived in this reality, or someone may kill you or something like that. For you to sustain in this travel, right, you gotta bounce off that shit because it's bigger than you. So with your small, shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas traveling through that, right, you got to create all kind of ideas and different concepts and different, aka different sounds and lights and informations, different bodies that your spirit can inhabit in order to sustain yourself through these travels, so you can get out that motherfucker alive. You don't have no heavy religious person trying to kill you. You don't have the world looking at you crazy, or you don't have, aka that type of shit. Right? And you get to survive through that with your spirit. But your spirit is in so many worlds, creating so many different bodies. You know how many fucking different worlds it is? You know how many fucking people it is? A person can create billions of worlds. So you know how many worlds your spirit is traveling in? Just me looking right here, my spirit is in another world, gaining all kind of information. And when this body died and transformed, when my neck, all the blood vessels that was in my neck, a lot of motherfuckers died. A lot of cells, bodies, a lot of motherfuckers died. A lot of spirits that was in those cells, right, then ascended somewhere else and died. But my overall spirit, right, is built new cells and new blood vessels and new bodies, new sounds, new lights to inhabit in order for me to be able to look just in that direction. You see how far death and transformation go? You see what I'm saying? All I did was that. Now all that information that my shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable, conscious, smokeless flame spirit then gained from that information, now I always got the ability to do this. My spirit always got the ability to control all my lights bodies, all those lesser bodies and spirits I control, because they're smaller. Look, the cell is a smaller body in me, right? And it's a spirit in that. But the spirit in that is a smaller, shapeless, formless, odorless, non-flammable gas. And to sustain themselves through my astral travel, right, they have to build themselves as stronger cells. You see what I'm saying? This shit is real. And motherfucking, yeah, you get, I know I went off from being alien abducted, but all this correlates. Because the moment you fully indoctrinate yourself, you have been abducted by aliens. And you have people imaginations and superstition levels so high that they may, and if they lost in the physical, a lot of times they physically may think they got abducted by aliens. But a lot of times you could be abducted. Like for the most part, you could go to sleep. Once you get it, like for the most part, say within you, right? As within, so without. Say you get indoctrinated by some type of science. You sit here and ponder over it for hours. Within